a warning.
The Batman 2022 Trailer, Cast, and Plot. The Batman is set to hit theaters in 2022, and it will star Robert Pattinson as a fresh version of the Caped Crusader. The plot of The Batman remains a mystery, and while the cast is well known and director Matt Reeves has already revealed both the Batsuit and the Batmobile, the plot and how it might link to the larger DC Extended Universe remains unknown. Nevertheless, here's everything worthy of knowing. Subscribe to this channel and be sure to stick around until the end of this video so you won't miss anything about your favorite superhero. Who will portray the new Batman? On May 16th, Variety claimed that Warner Brothers was considering Pattinson to replace Ben Affleck as Batman, who played an older version of the character based on Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. The Wrap later reported that the part was still up for grabs and that Nicholas Hoult was a contender, though Variety reported on May 31st that Reeves had chosen Pattinson. Trailer. The 2.5-minute teaser introduces important villains like the Riddler and Penguin, as well as Batman's connection with Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman. This new take on Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, depicts a much darker and grittier version of the Caped Crusader who is hell-bent on defeating crime the only way he knows how, with force. The trailer works well with a new Batman because the majority of the scenes are either in the rain or at night, when it is Batman's turn to terrorize criminals. Pattinson's interpretation of Batman may be summed up in the trailer's final scene, where he throws caution to the wind. There are fewer traps and gadgets, but the level of blunt force trauma has been increased significantly. Who is the writer of The Batman? The Batman was co-written by Matt Reeves and Peter Craig, who brought us hits like Top Gun Maverick and Bad Boys for Life. With a low-key focus on re-establishing the Dark Knight as the world's greatest detective, Affleck originally authored Warner Brothers' forthcoming solo Batman feature. Following the critical and box office failures of Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, Warner Brothers tried to clear the slate inside a DCEU that was already jumbled in terms of cohesion. In the end, Affleck, who was supposed to direct and appear in the upcoming Batman film, isn't even listed as a writer anymore. Who is Batman's main antagonist? Paul Dano takes on the role of the Riddler, a darker version of DC's mysterious maniac. The talented actor who helmed the underrated Wildlife in 2018 looks to be portraying the Riddler as a scary, murderous psychotic. This is a big cry from Jim Carrey's funny, delightfully campy performance in Batman Forever in 1995. Is it really described as The Batman? It is. Though Reeves had hinted that the title might change, the formal announcement for the film established the title as The Batman. Despite its simplicity, it's a statement from Reeves and Warner Brothers as a whole that this could be their attempt to create the definitive version of The Dark Knight. Who else will appear in the Batman film? Matt Reeves spent the majority of 2019 on Twitter, using the tasteful art of GIFs to disclose the cast of his DC film. The following actors make up the film's cast, which is a real who's who of talent. Detective James Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright of Westworld. The part was played by Simmons in the 2017 film Justice League. On Instagram, Wright has kept fans up to date on his studies into the part, posting photographs of vintage Batman trade paperback collections, including the crime classic Batman: The Long Halloween. Selina Kyle, or Catwoman, is played by Zoe Kravitz of Big Little Lies. Kravitz previously portrayed Catwoman in the animated picture The Lego Batman Movie, which was released in 2017. Edward Nashton, or the Riddler, is played by Paul Dano of There Will Be Blood. Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce Wayne's skillful butler, is played by Andy Serkis of War for the Planets of the Apes. Serkis takes over the character previously performed by Jeremy Irons in the DCEU flicks. Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, is played by Colin Farrell of Minority Report and Daredevil as Bullseye. In this film, he plays a crime boss who has yet to achieve the status of Kingpin, as depicted in the comic books. Carmine Falcone, a famous crime lord in Gotham City and from Batman's comics, is played by John Turturro. popular from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, The Batman's release. The Batman was supposed to come out on June 21, 2021. However, due to the coronavirus epidemic, it was initially postponed until October 1, 2021. On April 20, 2020, The Hollywood Reporter revealed the news. Warner Brothers, on the other hand, pushed the release date back still again to meet their schedules, finally deciding on March 4, 2022 as the final date. Plot. We now know a lot about the Batman story, judging by the trailers. Riddler prods and pokes at both Batman and Jim Gordon, leading them to investigate a series of murders. Gotham normally racks up the body count, so don't be surprised if it's the latter. It's also clear the relationship between Catwoman and Batman will be a big part of the film. There's also now an official synopsis. The Batman is an edgy, action-packed thriller that depicts Batman in his early years, struggling to balance rage with righteousness as he investigates a disturbing mystery that has terrorized Gotham. Robert Pattinson delivers a raw, intense portrayal of Batman as a disillusioned, desperate vigilante awakened by the realization that the anger consuming him makes him no better than the ruthless serial killer he's hunting. The film is set during the Caped Crusader's second year on the job, so don't expect everything to be rosy for the crime-fighting vigilante. Interestingly, the Batman is confirmed to exist in its own Earth and the multiverse, so don't expect crossovers with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker or any of the mainline DC EU characters, such as Henry Cavill's Superman. It also seems that Jim Gordon will be a more hands-on ally to the vigilante. I think Gordon is much less reticent. He's very much in the thick of things with the Batman, so they're different in that regard. Jeffrey Wright told Games Radar Plus of the differences between his MCU character, the Watcher, and Gordon. Wright also commented, "They're both holding the scales, so to speak. They're definitely characters who are concerned about justice and justness." That sounds like classic Gordon to us. The Batman, though, isn't going to be a retelling of the origin story we all know so well. Director Matt Reeves said in an interview with Nerdist, "I wanted to not do an original tale, but a tale that would still acknowledge his origins and that it formed who he is." 3 comic books that inspired the movie have also been revealed. They're Batman The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, Batman Ego and Other Tales by Darwin Cook, and Batman Year One by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. The Long Halloween is a detective story that features a wide array of villains, while Year One is an origin story for both Batman and Catwoman that involves corruption in the GCPD. Ego, meanwhile, sees Bruce try to retire as Batman, only for his consciousness to split between man and vigilante. Both sides of his psyche engage in a debate, and Bruce's feelings over his failures come to light. These all seem very in line from what can be gleaned from the teaser trailer. A moody, psychological, and grounded detective tale. Looks like someone's coming back. Now you just have to hit the subscribe button so you can catch up with him when he arrives in March of 2022. Like, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you soon.